Hello guys, Evans here and welcome to this last part in this database tutorial where we're solving the May-June 2019 database section from the paper 2. And in the last couple of videos, we've looked at all the steps up leading up to step 17 as far as databases are concerned. And now we start to do step 18. So in step 18, we're going to create a report to identify how many chefs and how many trainee chefs work at each venue. So the report must be in tabular format with grid lines and have the venue names and addresses as shown as row headings. Do not include any totals. So this is key as well. We shouldn't include any totals in our reports. But the venue name and addresses, which is address 1 and address 2, should be part of the row heading. And then also we are performing how many, so which means we are counting how many chefs. So the criteria is that we need chefs, okay? We need chefs and we need trainee chefs. Okay, so that's very important for you to decipher. Okay, is it cipher or decipher? Okay, good. So let's go ahead and do just that. So basically what they're asking you is to create a cross-tab query and use your cross-tab query to create a report. Okay, this is very simple, guys. So I'm going to come to my Access and I'll close up all these tables. I don't need them. And I'll go to create. And the first thing that I want to do is to create a criteria. So I love, first of all, to create a query. So my query, basically, I select all the tables. I don't mind, but I need to show is the venue name. And then I need address 1, address 2. And then I need also the job code and the job description. How do I know that? I'll count how many job codes are there, and I'll count the I'll find the description that I need. Okay, so for example, for the description, I can say that I need the job code to be those that are trainee chefs. Okay, so if you go to this one, jobs, if someone is a trainee chef, it is TC. If someone is a chef, it is just a C. Okay. Notice also that if you come here and if you try to search this one to say I want chef, okay, let's say we want to list job description as chef. If you try to run this this query just to see whether it will run, notice that it doesn't give you any value. And the key was because of the double quotes that we had on job description. So it's very difficult for you to perform a search on this one. You would perhaps need to add more quotes to that. And it tells you you've got invalid data. So you will need to be smart here. So you can use actually the job code. So just say TC for, let's say C for chef or TC for trainee chef, and run it, and bingo, you now have the chefs and you now have the trainee chefs. Okay, good. So we have the criteria, and then now we can save this query. We'll save it as step number, let's go back to the question paper. This should be step 18 query. Okay. And now we can go and create our cross-tab query. So just go to create. You can go to query wizard if you want, and that will be much easier for you. So query wizard, and then select cross-tab query and say okay. So here there is a question: which table or query contains the fields you want for the thing? Ours, it's in a query. So we say step 18 query contains everything we need. And then say, which fields do you want as row headings? We were told in the question paper, row headings should be venue names and addresses as row headings. Venue names and addresses. So we come back here. Venue names should be 1 at address like that, and address 2 like that. Notice they'll be put as row headings like this. Okay. Then you go to next. Which fields do you want as column heading? So the column heading, I want the job description to be the column heading because I want whether it's trainee chef or what. And then you go to next. What number do you want calculated for each column. So I want to perform a count of how many job codes I have. I want to count them, how many chefs I have, how many training chefs I have. Okay. So if you want to have the first, if you want to have the maximum, the minimum, the last, and so on, you can also perform things like that. But in this case, I want to perform just a count. So I'll go to next. And then here, I can give my report a query or something like that. I mean, a name, meaningful name or something, but that doesn't mind. So notice also that we don't need the total of job codes. We don't need that. We just need these two. So either when creating the report, I won't include this there. Okay, so I'll delete it, or you can delete it from here. I'll leave it as it is, and I'll just save it and go now to create the report. So create report wizard, and the report is based on the cross-tab query that we just created, but I'll skip total of job code. So I'll select all the fields, but total of job code, I'll remove it, and it won't be part of the field there, because the question tells me that don't include, do not include any totals, okay? And it must be in tabular format. So go back to the spreadsheet and go to next, and go to next, go to next, don't perform any sorting, make sure it is tabular format, and make sure it is portrait. Make sure that adjust cells to fit on a single page wide is selected, and go to next. And then here, this is the title of the report. Again, the title of the report, you need to get it from the description in the question. So this is about the number of chefs or training chefs who work at this venue. So here I can get this as my title for my report. So I can go back here. So I would say number of chefs or trainee chefs working at each venue. Okay, that will be my title. And preview the report. And notice I have the report previewed, but I need to perform some formatting on the report. Okay, so close preview, and let's open in layout view. So open layout view, come here, layout view. So for layout view, I want to make sure that all the field names are fully visible. There's no field name that is cut. So venue name, I'll just resize it like this a little bit. Address one, just make sure that the address one is fully visible. It is visible. I'll just use my left arrow on the keyboard to move the information like this. And then I'll use address two, select it like that, and then just resize it as well. And I'll move my left key on the keyboard just to move it. Okay, and then chef, get it, move it as well. Well, I selected it together with the other one. So let's get these two, move them. That should be fine. I'll get this one. This is supposed to be training chef. So just resize it from this end, training chef. And that should be perfectly fine. Okay, so if I want, I can center this just to make the report look a little bit professional. It doesn't have to be, but it'll be good just to make it look. No, it doesn't have to center with, then just undo this, redo it. I'm just centering this so the numbers are in the middle, and yeah, that's perfectly fine. Now, notice that we've been told that we should have some. If you come here, it must be in tabular form with grid lines. So grid lines. So let's go ahead and try to find how to add some grid lines to this table. So I'm in layout view. I need to select some grid lines to add to this. Okay, so I'm gonna try to take it to design view. I want to have some grid lines shown for this one. Okay. Let's see, where am I going to get the grid lines? I hope I'm not stuck. It won't be a good thing if I'm stuck. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause the video until I find how to show the grid lines, and then I'll show you. Okay, good. Finally managed to figure out a way of adding the grid lines to the table. And so basically to select the table, what you're supposed to do is to select the table like this. You go to if you select one like this, or I don't know how many columns you can select like this, take it to design view first of all. In design view, that's when you have more control. So you select the entire column like this, then you go to align, and then you go to tabular. Make sure that you click tabular. Green lines will not be visible initially. So if I say none, green lines will not be visible initially. Let's try to remove the layout. Okay, so for you it will be like this initially, where you don't have green lines, you just have this. So select this, select tabular, um, like that. Green lines will be enabled. Then select both. Okay, and then for the next one as well, notice that the alignment for this one is not so good, but just select it as well like that. Click on tabular, and the grid lines will be enabled, and notice that it comes displayed on top of the details, so you want to drag it up there again. So select both and then drag this up, because it's supposed to be up there. Okay, like that. Just make sure that both is selected, um, both is selected, and notice also that the alignment should match, okay, for the two, otherwise the table will look weird when you try to view it. So let's go ahead and view the table in layout view, and you can now see that we have the table grid lines shown for this one. Okay, so basically that's what we were supposed to do for the grid lines. Okay, good. So any totals must have been included. Save your database, then just go ahead and save the database. The last part of the video was, or the question rather, is name another IT application that could store the original data without using a database. And of course, you guys, we just talked about it at the start of this video. It's supposed to be a spreadsheet. And then they asked us to explain the advantages and disadvantages, or the explicit advantages of relational database for this solution compared to the other method. And at the start of this video, if you watched it, I did explain this question thoroughly, differentiating the difference, the different aspect between flat file and relational database, and some of the problems that you encounter when you dealing with the flat file, things like duplication of data, update anomalies, deletion anomalies. In a nutshell, there will be less duplication of data. You also talk about easy to update records from one table to the other, because the tables are kind of interconnected. So you also have easy to delete the records from one table. Okay. You can also say that your database will be in one whole, it will be more like centralized. I talk about decentralizing your database. So it will be more like in one central place, but you have multiple tables which are connected together by links. And that will make it very easy for you to perform things like updating, searching, retrieving of information, and so on from your database. And also, um, I mentioned about the anomalies that you would face when it's a flat file, some of the errors. If you try to delete one record, you end up deleting the other thing. You may try to type data, and by accident you type in wrong stuff, and that may affect the database, the quality of information stored on the database. And I said one way to avoid that is by use of relational database, because with relational database, you minimize on the chances of making errors, because you're only entering data in a smaller table compared to entering data in a very large table. Okay, so I think that would do for this one. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video, and I'll see you in the next couple of videos. Good.